Hey campers, George here, sitting in the man cave. Yeah, snowing. Again. What can I say? Minnesota. Sitting here reading some Caring For You Camillus knives. Yep, been bargain hunting again. Thought I'd get away from all those gas-powered stuff I've been looking at lately and have a look at something different. What happened was, one of the channels I subscribed to, Really Big Monkey, this guy here, love his channel. You want to see his man cave? I wish. On a couple of his videos that I've seen, and I've looked at a lot of his videos, he's a big fan of the Machete. And I've always wondered about that. You know, I carry a little camp axe with me, CRKT guy, and it works okay. But I find that I don't use it enough. I thought I wanted to have a look at a Machete. I didn't really want a big one. I wanted something that I could handle, so I did some looking around online. And whenever I'm in Walmart, I just can't resist walking through their camping section just to see what gizmos they've got now. And they had a Machete. Yep. And that was about 2 weeks ago, and I've been thinking about it since then. And one of the things that got my attention is it's not just a Machete. It's actually kind of a multi-tool, which I liked. And it ran in the range of about $26, which was pushing my budget. Why don't I just get it and have a look at it and see if it'll work for me? So, with that in mind, let's check him out. Oh, I'm the proud owner of one of these knives that I've had for quite a while, that I purchased way back when I first started to really go out and camp a lot more on my kayak. I needed a knife. I was on a really tight budget, and I found this knife, and it worked for me. It had some issues, but it worked for me. And until I had enough money, I didn't replace it for a while, but it did its job. And the reason I chose this guy is because it's not just a Machete. It has some others with it, and I looked at the reviews, and to be honest, the first reviews I looked at, I was a little surprised. There was a lot of complaints of broken blades and things like that. But then after a little bit of scrutiny and going back and looking at those reviews again, it was only on certain knives, well, machetes, from Camillus, and surprisingly, the one I got had good reviews. So here it is. This guy, the Camillus Carnivore, and the trick is this thing here, the X. That was the trick. All the one I was looking at was just the Carnivore, not the X. And I think there was a Z, and they didn't get good reviews at all. So when I saw this, I thought, why not? Let's get it and have a look at it. And you know what? It's another excuse to go out, even in the snow, and test it. Got to test it. Can't just talk about it. So that was my excuse, and I'm sticking to it. So here we go. Let's have a look at this big guy. And oh, by the way, it has a little extra on it, which we'll get into. It is a titanium bonded blade. It is a full tang. It comes with a sheath, and attached to the sheath, it has a little bit extra, and that's this little guy here. You can see there, which I don't know what you would call it. It's just one of those little knives that doesn't have the handle on, has a couple of tools and things in it, has a pretty sharp blade on it, has some gut cutters on it, and I believe it's designed to put onto a spear, so you can use it as spearhead, arrowhead, whatever you'd like to use it. Nice little extra. Nice to have along. Only thing is, it doesn't have a handle. What I'll probably end up doing is just adding some 550 cord. And it has its own little sheath, which, by the way, actually does have a belt hook on it. But it's really designed, as you can see here on the back, it has the clip and a Velcro strap over here. So this fits on the sheath. You just clip this guy on and bring it around like that, and it'll sit right in there. And I'm pretty sure it's secure. It's not going to go anywhere, which I thought was a nice touch. It does come with a sheath. It does have that hard plastic, whatever they call it, inside. So when you put the blade in, it doesn't cut your sheath. It's just a standard sheath hanging. So it hangs on your belt. Actually not a bad looking sheath. Pretty sturdy, pretty good. And here it is, the beast. You can see here. It's pretty big. It is about overall about 18 inches. Let's just confirm that quickly. What are we looking at here? Yep, 18 inches, tip to toe. And it is full tang. You can see the blade comes through here, and it does have a lanyard hole for you to put on there. As you can see on the top here, it does have a saw, and I did say the reason I like this one is it is kind of a multi-tool. And if you look at the saw teeth, let's see if we can focus in on them there. They're not bad. They're pretty big, pretty strong, pretty aggressive saw teeth. And the nice thing is, the whole length of the blade, well, almost. You've got your gut hook right here. And I like the end of the blade here. And they say you can use it for prying, digging, that sort of thing. Now, I'm not a big fan of that. I don't like prying things with a blade, because if the blade snaps, you could hurt yourself. But it is a sturdy blade. It's got some thickness to it. And I'll put all the, well, I'm sure I did. I'll put all the information out there, and you can see it's labeled right here. And there, Carnivore X. So a nice blade. The handle is made of that, I don't know what it's called, that plastic stuff. A lot of people make it with it. It's not a bad handle. For me, when I look to choose a knife, the first thing I do is I hold it. I want to see how the handle works. Me, I've got a horrible hand. It's about 10 foot wide and about 3 inches high. So I have a big palm and short fingers. So the blade, I mean the handle, I need to make sure it's comfortable for me. And this doesn't feel bad. Holding it right now, I can feel these. And I'm wondering when you're chopping, if that's going to dig in. Well, we'll see. But it's not really a problem, because I'm pretty sure maybe taping it up, grinding these down and putting on some hockey tape will help. I just know that in summer, using this, my hand's going to sweat. So probably a glove, and that hockey tape will help. So let's see how we do with it. Can tell you out of the box, it's pretty sharp. I'm impressed how sharp it is. So it is titanium. Well, titanium bonded. What that means is I'm not sure, but it looks pretty cool. All right, let's see how long that blade actually is. Measure it quickly. About 11 inches. Plus or minus. 11 and a half inches is what I'd give it. Which is pretty long. It's pretty heavy, and I like that. It's not too heavy. It feels right. It's not a bad feel to the weight on it. Feels pretty good. And it'll give it a bit of weight when you're chopping stuff up. The sawing, having to turn the blade, the handle upside down, may be a little uncomfortable, simply because you've got your finger marks here, and that's where it sits in the palm of your hand. But I think it will work. We'll soon find out. So there you have it. Not a bad little blade. little, he says. Nice and sharp. Wish I had something I could... Now you can see it cut through that pretty good. One other thing I like about a knife, and I was wondering about these, is will I be able to use it on a ferro rod or on a flint? Not a flint, but the magnesium. Can I scrape off with that? And I'm looking at it, and I don't want to use the blade for it. That's pretty obvious. Can't use the ends here. Maybe here, but it's too far away to get a good grip and strike on it. I'm hoping, he says, that either I can get it there, which is kind of flat just at the end of the blade, or there. We'll have to try that out and see if it works, because if that works, bonus, I have to find some way to put a ferro rod on the sheath, add to it. So there you go. The CARNIVORE X. So far, looks pretty good. They are talking about all the options on it, and they are saying 12-inch blade, plus or minus, ergonomic handle. It's okay, I don't like that rough stuff on top. It includes a sheath and a saw, and they also talk about the gut hook and using these parts here for your digging and prying. Like I said, I'm not a fan of that, but if you need it, got to know if it's going to work. There you go. Gonna have to take that into the woods and play. Woohoo. Always nice to have toys to play with. And you know what? The budget was right. I believe I got this for 27 bucks. Obviously, they have it in store. I think at Walmart, if you can find a local store and they don't have it, they'll get it to you free shipping if you want to pick it up. So 27 bucks plus tax. Not too bad so far. We'll see. This little guy, and they refer to it as a trimming knife. That's what they call it. It does have 2 wrench places here. Like I said in previous videos, 2 doesn't help me. The chances are I'm not going to be needing that size. But it does have a gut hook and a small blade, and it is pretty sharp. And they call it a trimming knife. So makes sense. You could probably do some feathering with it. Like I said, you're gonna have to do something about the handle. That could hurt a little bit. But I think putting some 550 cord around it, maybe that'll help. And the cord, if you put it on there right, could be used to tie it to a stick for a spear or a fishing spear or an arrow, that sort of thing. It's not bad. Titanium, I should think. Same thing as the blade on the Machete. And it's pretty heavy, it's pretty thick, it's sturdy, and it is sharp. So there you go. Trimming knife, which came with it. Well, found somewhere to get out in the outdoors and hopefully find a piece of wood to cut up and try out my new toy. The weather's been bad. First day today with some really good sunshine. It's fairly warm outside. It's about 17 degrees. And they're saying tonight high winds and there's a warning out. So need to get out there and find me a piece of wood. A big piece of wood to make smaller with my new toy. So let's go. Okay, all set. Let's go find some wood. Well, the first problem is I didn't bring any snowshoes. And that's a big problem. I'm going to be limited as to where I can go. I think I'm going to go and see if we can find a piece of wood and bring it back here. Okay, we're going to do the best we can, but I wanted to show you before we started what modifications I made to the Carnivore. There it is in its sheath. I added a wrist sling, and basically it's just tied on bright orange, so if I drop it I can find it easily enough. The other modification was I put a little bit of hockey tape on the handle, make it less slippery. On the little knife that comes with it, I just tied some 550 cord to it, and that'll help with tying it to a pole of some sort to make a spear or something like that. And also gives it a bit of a handle for now, for pairing and things like that. And you can see how that works. So if I drop it, it'll stay on my hand. Basically, just a simple slip knot is all it took. So I found a small piece of wood here, about 1 inch in diameter. It's all I could find out here. The snow is so deep I couldn't really find anything. I didn't think about that, but this is the first opportunity I've had to get out. So I'm going to chop into this and see how it does. Obviously I don't have anywhere, a base or anything to put it on, so I'm going to have to hold the wood while chopping. It's not an ideal situation. Obviously you want a base to sit it on to chop it, so let's see how this goes. It's pretty sharp. I mean, it cut right into that, so it has a nice sharp blade, so that's not bad. I wish I could just try it on something thicker, but let's see how we do here. I mean, it's getting right through this. For me, this would work. I'm not looking at chopping down a huge tree or anything. This would be the typical size I'd be cutting it up with. So I don't see any problem with something thicker. Just take a little bit more. The blade is well balanced, I will say that. It does hold on pretty good, and it's got some weight behind it. So that works. For me anyway. Trying it out on a thicker piece. Can't really do it today, unfortunately, but I just wanted to look at the basics of it. What I'm going to do is just saw into this piece of wood. Hopefully you can see this. You see if I can adjust this a little bit more. I have no room. The snow is deep. It is Minnesota. But here you can see the blades, the teeth of the saw. So let's see how we do here. Do a quick couple of strokes here. I don't have a good base, but it is cut in. You can see that. A couple of strokes. So it does have a good bite, that's for sure. It's not as easy as I thought it was going to be. Obviously I need to brace this piece of wood, and that's an issue. I'm going to try my knee here and hold it in there. Oh, much better. Hopefully we'll be able to see that. But you can see, makes a nice clean cut. So the teeth are certainly strong enough to cut through just about anything. It does what I need it to do. Not a real test, but it gives you an idea of what to expect. The other thing I wanted to try, see if I could use this or this area here, these two areas, to strike a ferro rod. So let's give that a try. My little day pack ferro rod, and I'm going to try the top here, see how well it works, see if we can strike a spark here. Well, it will strike a spark. It's not easy because obviously the blade's are really big and the area you have is pretty small. Let's try this side. Oh, that's much better. So it will strike. So that will work. But don't forget, if that's not working for you, let's see if this guy will work. I don't really see anywhere here to strike with. Let's give it a try. I'm going to try on this edge here. It's not working. But it also might be the operator. But we're getting sparks. So you can always use that if you need to. This paring knife, by the way, is pretty sharp and it will cut. So, but it's sharp enough to do some paring. See there. So that's the little one. One thing I do want to do, see if I can, wow, that cut right through that. See if I can make some quills out of this. Oh yeah, no problem. You'll be able to feather with this, I think. In fact, it's pretty good. So, not bad. Nice clean cut. So it works. So there you go, campers. I know that was not an ideal demonstration, but it gave you an idea. Certainly is sharp. I love the weight on this thing, and the handle's not as bad as I thought it was going to be. Although using it on the saw side, you do need to have, obviously, a base to work off. You have to turn the handle upside down to saw, which is a little uncomfortable, but it wasn't as bad. So there you go. The Camillus Carnivore does the job, I think. For the price, well worth it. Don't forget, like, share, subscribe. You know the story. Hopefully, I'll be back soon. Just saying. Thanks for watching. Appreciate it. Don't forget to put a comment below.